Once upon a time, in the village of Aloma, there lived a fisherman, Obi, and his wife Ukamaka. They had been married for 5 years and had no children. Although Obi and Ukamaka were childless, they were very happy together and kept praying and hoping that one day they would hear the cry of a baby in their home. One day, Obi was on his way to the river to fish. As he passed by the narrow road leading to the river, he heard the sound of a baby crying. He looked around but found nothing. As he continued on his way, the sound became more audible. It seemed like it was coming from near the river. Just before he got to the river, he found a basket which had been left by a big tree. When Obi opened the basket, he was shocked at what he saw. He saw two beautiful babies, a boy and a girl. Who could have abandoned these babies here, he thought. He walked around the area, calling out, hoping that the mother of the babies was near, but there was no reply. Obi decided to take the babies as he could not leave them there. When he got home, he called out to his wife Ukamaka. The moment she laid eyes on the babies, her countenance changed. "Whose babies are these? And why have you brought them here?" she asked her husband. Obi told her of how he had found the babies abandoned by the river. He said that perhaps this was God's way of blessing them with children. Ukamaka looked at her husband, at how he adored the baby, and she became furious and accused her husband of mocking her because of her inability to bear children. She asked Obi to return the babies, that she wants nothing to do with them, saying that God will bless them with their own children when the time comes. Obi could not believe that his wife would react in such a manner. He thought that perhaps seeing and taking care of the babies would make her happy. He tried to plead with his wife for them to keep the babies until their mother was found. He said he couldn't return them, that his conscience would not allow him to do such a thing. But his wife refused, saying that if Obi insisted and kept the babies, that she would have nothing to do with them in any way. Her husband Obi accepted, with hopes that Uka would change her mind and come to care for the twins later. But he was wrong. Ukamaka kept true to her threat. She never worried about the babies' welfare. Whether they were fed or clean was not her concern. Even when the babies would cry out of hunger or discomfort, she would pay a deaf ear and remain unbothered. Whenever Obi was to go fishing, he would plead with his wife to take care of the babies, but he would return home to find the babies crying, or sometimes sleeping after they must have cried all day for food, or sometimes he would return to find them soiled in their poop. This went on for a very long time, and this attitude from Ukamaka put a lot of strain on their relationship. Time passed, and the twins turned 6. Still, Ukamaka's attitude toward them did not change. Even when they called her mother, she would yell at them, saying she was not their mother. She never cooked for them. The only time the twins ate was when their father, Obi, was around. One fateful day, Chidubem, the male twin, fell seriously ill. Obi had gone for fishing and did not notice the boy had a fever. Chidubem was in so much pain, and his sister, Chinaza, ran to their mother, Ukamaka, to complain to her. Ukamaka got very upset and scolded the child, warning her never to disturb her again. The little girl had no idea what to do. She took a cup of water and tried to make her twin brother to drink, hoping that the water would make him feel better. When this did not happen, she sat beside her brother and began to cry. This went on till very late in the evening when Obi returned home. On seeing the boy's condition, Obi rushed Chidubem to the herbalist. Thankfully, the herbalist was able to administer some medicines which stopped the fever and arrested the ailment. Obi felt very bad and could not believe that his wife will be this heartless towards another human being. For days, he refused to speak to his wife or eat any meal she served him. In fact, Obi stopped eating her food and started cooking separately for himself and the twins. Even this did not bother Ukamaka. On so many occasions, the twins had asked their father why their mother did not love them. Obi had tried to convince them that that was not the case. Then one day, 2 years later, Obi had left for fishing. Ukamaka started to scold the twins. She blamed them for her misfortune and chased them out of the house. The twins cried and pleaded with their mother, saying they had nowhere to go. She dragged them out of the house, saying that they had brought bad luck to her. The twins, frightened, continued to cry. Ukamaka paid deaf ear to their pleas and cries and chased them away with a broom. Not caring how young they were and the fact that they knew no one or their way around the village, Chidubem and Chinaza felt so lost and did not know how to find their way back home, so they started to wander around the village in search of refuge. They walked for a very long time and came to rest under a tree. By this time, they were tired and hungry. Not too long after they sat under the tree, a woman approached them and asked why they were crying and what they were doing on the lonely road. The children told her that their mother had been angry with them and had chased them away from home. She asked who their parents were, but unfortunately, she had never heard the names before. The woman's name was Ebere. Ebere asked the twins if they would love to live with her and her husband until their parents found them. The twins agreed and were very happy to have somewhere to stay. So, Ebere took Chidubem and Chinaza home. She took care of them and showed them so much love. The twins were very happy and they called Ebere and her husband Mama and Papa. Ebere and her husband Eke filled the gap of mother and father, and the twins loved them in return. Eke and his wife had been hoping and praying for children of their own, and 2 years after the twins started living with them, they got pregnant and welcomed a set of twin baby girls. Not only that, their business began to flourish and prosper, and a lot of good things started to happen for the family. Eke and his wife Iberi acknowledged that the twins had brought them good luck. They treated the twins well and showed them so much love, making sure they had everything they wanted. Meanwhile, back in Aloma, Ukamaka still had not had a child for her husband. Her relationship with her husband was hanging by a thread. After Obi discovered what his wife had done, he had vowed never to forgive her. One day, Ukamaka was at the market where she had been to buy foodstuff. At the market, she bumped into an old woman. The old woman looked at her, shook her head and said, "Why did you throw away that which was meant to bring you happiness?" Ukamaka asked the old woman what she meant, but the old lady shook her head again and walked away. When she got home, she was worried about her encounter with the old woman. She tried to recollect what she had thrown away recently, but it made no sense to her as she could not connect it with what the old lady meant. So one day, Obi had decided to go to Udim, a neighboring village, to sell his catch, as business in Alaoma was not booming. There in the market, a woman had come to buy fish from him. She was accompanied by Chinaza. When Chinaza saw Obi, she was excited and hugged him. She was looking so grown, healthy and happy. Obi was grateful to Ibele and thanked her for taking care of the twins all these years. He introduced himself and pleaded with her for their address as he promised to pay the twins a visit sometime. Ebele agreed. Obi gave them some fish and would not collect payment. He bid farewell to Chinaza and Ibele. When Obi got home, he shared the good news with Ukamaka, who pleaded with her husband to take her to the neighboring village to see the twins. She said her heart had not known peace since she drove them away. Obi was surprised at his wife's request. He sensed that maybe she changed after her encounter with the old woman at the market. A few days later, Obi and Ukamaka set out to Udim, the neighboring village. On getting there, they met Ebele, who welcomed them to her home. As soon as Chinaza and Chidubem set eyes on Ukamaka, they retreated in fear. On seeing the twins, Ukamaka started to shout, "Give me back my happiness, you evil twins. Ever since you came to my home, I have known nothing but sadness." On hearing this, Obi was shocked. He thought that perhaps his wife had changed and that she was here to ask for forgiveness and make amends. Ebele, on hearing this, was shocked too, but she spoke up for her children. "Those children have brought a lot of happiness into my home since they started to live with us. They are my good luck charm. I ceased to be barren and conceived when they came to live with us, and my husband's business has been booming." On hearing that, Ukamaka intensified her accusations. "So you are the woman that took my happiness. You must return it to me today." There was tension in the air as the two women exchanged words. Obi could not control his wife. At that minute, Eke came back home and sent Obi and his wife away. 2 days later, Ukamaka returned to Udim village again to insist that the twins return her happiness. When she got there, her conversation with Ebele became heated and both women started to fight. The neighbors gathered to find out what the commotion was about. On realizing that Ukamaka was a stranger from the neighboring village, they took her to see the king and queen to resolve the issue. On getting to the palace, Ukamaka was asked the reason she left her home to another village to accuse and fight another woman. She narrated her story, how her husband had found 2 babies by the river and how they had stolen her good luck and happiness. The king and queen, on hearing her story, requested that the twins be brought to the palace. When the queen laid eyes on the twins, she started to cry. She looked behind their ear to see an identical birthmark. There and then, the king announced that Chinaza and Chidubem were the prince and princess. They had been stolen from the palace so many years ago. All attempt to find them was futile. The king and queen were so happy to see their children again. They thanked Ebele for taking care of their children like they were her own. They gifted Ebele and her husband Eke a very large piece of land and promised to support them whenever the need arises. The king and queen warned Ukamaka never to set foot in Udim again, or she will be severely punished. On reaching home, Obi ended his marriage to Ukamaka and sent her away. He took another wife for himself, and after 1 year, they were blessed with a son. Morals of this story: children are a gift from God. You must learn to love and accept them, as the conditions surrounding their birth is not their fault. Always show love and kindness to people around. You never know what test God is putting you through. Also, show love and kindness to everyone you meet along the way, because you never know where your help will come from. I hope you enjoyed the story today. If you did, then please give it a like and leave me a comment. Let me know what you liked most about the story. Subscribe to our channel, okay, if you are not subscribed. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.